Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to see how can we automate certain parts of the customer support with n8n. Now, most customer support teams spend 60 to 70% of their time answering repetitive queries like tracking requests, billing questions, booking updates, complaints, and more. Now, the question over here is what if your support inbox and WhatsApp support could resolve most of these automatically? That's exactly what we are going to see in today's video. In today's video, we are going to see two powerful n8n workflows that automate customer support for a B2B logistics companies. The first one will be an email support automation and the second is a WhatsApp support automation. So by the end of this tutorial, you will know how customer support and account management teams can 1. Auto-categorize queries, 2. Send instant responses, 3. Pull shipment of billing data from whatever ERP or CRM systems that you have, 3. Escalate the query only when it is needed, and lastly, reduce the response time dramatically. So let's quickly dive into it. So when we talk about the first workflow, that is automating customer support through email, that is wherein see we have a trigger wherein on the support ID there of the company, we are getting inbound emails of customers with certain queries, concerns or complaints. What we're going to do over here is we'll start with configuring the workflow when we are adding, say, the list of support executives that we have. We are adding the SNARs as the response time that we want to maintain. And with that, we are initially going to start with creating a ticket ID. So for any email that comes in from a specific email ID, we are going to generate a ticket. Then what we are going to see is we're going to check if there are attachments or not in that particular email. Because many times what happens is customers often add a direct screenshot or any particular document related to which they have their queries. So we would want to understand what that is as well. And then we have built an AI agent that analyzes the email body and the attachments to give us a certain output. So when I see what all things I have asked that particular AI agent to do, so we can see that what it's extracting is the entire email, the attachments, and what it is doing is it is identifying the customer intent in terms of whether that particular customer email is about query, complaint, concern, or any particular request. We have even identified certain issues. So since we're taking a case of, say, a logistics company, a B2B logistics company, we know that there are certain buckets of issues related to which majority of the customer concerns or queries comes in. It can be related to delivery delay, tracking the shipments, or complaining about missing goods, damaged goods, or related to the invoicing. So we have categorized those. We even set an urgency level. So this is wherein what we have tried to understand is if someone in their email is mentioning that this is very urgent or I need this resolved ASAP. So it sort of understands or tags those keywords and marks it as whether it is a low, medium, or a critical urgency level. What we have also added is seeing whether the customer has added certain identifiers or not, like the order ID, the shipment ID, or their account ID itself, for us to map that particular customer in our ERP or in our CRMs. Finally, what we have asked the agent to do is give us a complete summary based on these parameters so that we can move on to the next step, which is matching it with FAQs. So this is wherein the most important automation comes in. As I mentioned that there are multiple buckets of queries that come in. Like if I am as a customer asking for tracking details or asking that, okay, where is my shipment? Now, this data is already there on an ERP and all I need to do is just automatically fetch that, paste it over here and then send it to the customer. Similarly, there are many other FAQs that can be stored somewhere in a database and we can have an FAQ match. So again, what we are doing is we are having an agent over here that matches that particular summary with the existing FAQs that we have and scores it between 0 to 100. So if there is match in the FAQ, then what this particular node does is it immediately prepares a response based on the FAQ and sends that response. And finally logs that ticket data into a Google Sheet, or if you want in a CRM, you can even do that. But in case, say, for example, the query is not as per the FAQ or not directly related to the FAQ, then what we can do is we can check for the missing details. Like if there are any missing details like order ID or account ID. If there are missing details, then we can have a first response as requesting for those details to further assist. If not, then we have again one more mode that checks whether it is urgent or not. If it is urgent, then it sends across an acknowledgement saying that yes, we acknowledge the issue and we'll be assigning a customer support team member to assist you with it. So what happens over here is when there is a quick turnaround time in the first response, customers often feel that brands are actually listening to them and are actually catering to whatever their queries are. And this is where we hand over to a particular customer support executive. So initially when we actually added the email IDs or the details of the customer support team members, we apply an assignment logic through which that particular customer query is assigned to a particular executive, and a Slack notification gets sent that, yeah, this is a ticket that has been raised and it's assigned to you for further resolution. So this is wherein we're using this entire email workflow to address, acknowledge, and assign to relevant POCs for taking the customer queries forward. And this is just one way in which we are automating the first response for customers. Another way to do this is, say, for example, the next mode of communication that we have is WhatsApp. So oftentimes what brands do is that to have a seamless communication, they have their WhatsApp chats or WhatsApp support teams present. In this case, so that's the next workflow that we have over here, is we have a WhatsApp node wherein we are tracking the incoming messages. And what we are doing over here is we are extracting that exact message and storing it in a database. Further, now to analyze what that message is about, what we are going to do is we are going to use an AI to analyze or classify that particular intent. So again, what we have done over here is we have asked AI agent to see whether that message is about a specific category or not. So what it does over here, it does a keyword search. Like say, for example, there are keywords like talk to agent or tracking shipment. So if a message is related to tracking or sales inquiry or invoices, there are those keywords that might be mentioned in the messages, and that's exactly what the AI agent captures. Once that data is captured, that gets stored in a conversation memory, because on WhatsApp, what happens is, unlike email, we have messages coming in back and forth. So we would want to store what the previous message was to ensure that we are not losing out on the context of it. Finally, based on the intent that we have classified, we have different routes that we have given over here. That include, say, shipment, booking, pricing inquiry, support request, billing. And what we have done is for every single option or every single classification, we have a different flow. Wherein, if say it is related to tracking, so we have an integration over here wherein you can integrate your ERP or CRM to fetch the details based on the customer's contact number, and finally have that tracking response formatted. So what we have over here is we are giving that if say as a customer, I'm asking for tracking update. Now, this flow uses the contact number of the customer to search on the ERP and give the output, like what is the tracking ID, what is the status, what is the current location, and estimated delivery details, like what's the end time. So this is the exact data that we are able to get over here, and this is the message that we have formatted to send across. Now, the concern over here also becomes is what happens in case if there is a error in the API integrations. So that's wherein we have even added an API message wherein we would want to say send the customer a very polite message that we are experiencing, say, an issue or we are offline right now. So this is how you can ensure that at least the customer gets an acknowledgement and a first response. Similarly, what we have done is we have done for, say, account and billing info. And what we are again doing is many a times there are situations wherein instead of a customer complaint or a query, we often do get sales inquiries as well on the customer ID or on the WhatsApp number that is shared. So how do we process that? Because that is something that can drive revenue for us. So over there, we have a logic over here wherein we are capturing that particular lead. We are seeing if that is a lead on our CRM or not. If not, then we are sending it to the CRM, and then we are sending a message related to a sales confirmation. And if yes, it is not a lead, then we are directly sending it a message. So that is how this entire workflow is created. Finally, say when we talk about escalations. So after the chat happens, after certain conversation happens, if the AI is recognizing that, no, this requires certain human intervention, what we've done is we have added a Slack notification over here. Instead of Slack, you can use any other mode of communication that your customer support team uses for getting notifications related to tickets or escalations. And that particular escalation goes on to the customer support team. And this is how we have responded, that connecting you with the team and a human agent will respond to you shortly. So this sort of gives affirmation to the customer as well that, yeah, there will be a team that's going to connect with me. And finally, we have a notification that gets sent to the support team as well to further respond to it. Now, we often see that many a times what might happen is that a customer might not have an idea as to what is the query and they would want certain inputs. So that's wherein we have even created a welcome menu that shows that, okay, like, how can I help you today? Many of you might have seen this in standard customer support forums as well, that we often have these options on WhatsApp of clicking 1, 2, 3, 4, and then moving forward. So that is exactly what we have done over here to ensure that the tagging of the responses also becomes quite easy. And similarly, we even have, say for an example, a rate calculator in place. So the logic over here is that, say a customer comes in, tells me that, okay, I want rates for pickup from this location to this particular location. So I have added an entire conversation over here wherein the output is that it takes like, what is the delivery city? That's the top point. What is the pickup city or location? We have that. And on that basis, this particular logic calculates that and gives that as an output. So this becomes handy when, say, you're getting a customer request of knowing the rates or knowing certain details. And instead of humans or a particular tool calculating it, we can directly have those calculations running real time and giving responses to customers in the real time itself. So this is how we have actually built the WhatsApp customer support automation bit. This is more extensive than what we have done for the email, because again, as I mentioned earlier, in WhatsApp, there is not just one directional communication that happens. There is constant messages that can come in from the customers. So tracking of every single conversation becomes quite important. So this was about it. This was about how we have built these templates or these workflows on n8n to help customer support teams automate certain initial touch points with your customers. And if you're part of support or operations team looking to automate these workflows, then please do like this video, and you can even DM or comment for getting more understanding of how these workflows work. And if you want access to this, please connect with us. I have dropped our email ID in the description below. And thank you so much for watching this one.